time for This Week on the Ice, and here are your hosts, Randy Preston and Carol McKee.
Good afternoon and welcome to This Week on the Ice. My name's Randy Preston, or Mr. Hockey, I guess that Carol calls me all the time.
I do.
This is Carol McKee over here, my partner in crime for the weekend.
I'm happy to be here, back at the IcePlex, along with our guest, Jake Eide.
Well, Jake is the assistant hockey coach, assistant varsity coach for the Watertown Lakers. Watertown just got done playing a game here at the IcePlex this afternoon with the Flyers blue team, I believe. Tell us a little bit about the game.
Well, it was a hard-fought game. A lot of goals scored. Good for the fans. Just didn't end the way we wanted to, but it was a good learning experience. Definitely.
It was definitely a little bit of an erratic game, kind of up and down. A lot of penalties, a lot of just strange puck hops is what I saw. Would you concur?
Yeah, there was a lot of shoulders being thrown around and a lot of bouncing pucks, and some go in the net, some don't. But you know, that's just the way it goes.
Certainly. Well, tell me a little bit about your Lakers team this year. What's the outlook for the Lakers?
Well, we got our ceiling's pretty high. We got I think 5 seniors, 5 juniors, right around in there, and then we got a really big sophomore class, but a very strong class too. So, you know, we could do a lot of damage in the state.
So the future's bright?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I keep hearing rumors that they're looking at adding some additional ice up in Watertown. Is that the case?
Yeah, that's definitely the.
Imagine a hockey player coming across.
It's incredible.
It happens.
Yeah.
There we go.
We need a defenseman out there.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk of it, but I don't know a lot of the details. I just stick to the ice.
Stick to the ice. And then, what brought you to coaching in Watertown?
I'm doing some school up at Lake Area, and my brother's on the team actually, so you know there's a lot of interest there. But I've been coaching for 5 years now, so a lot of interest in the sport.
Well, and you were at Huron before, right?
Yep.
And that's where you played your own hockey?
Grew up and played there. Yep.
And Huron is another long-standing traditional hockey community.
Yeah, there's a lot of tradition in that rink. A lot of tradition. But
you went from one with a lot of tradition to another one.
Yeah. There's a lot of pride involved.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
One of these days we're going to track down all the history of hockey in South Dakota.
Yeah.
I know a lot of it's going to come from Huron and Watertown.
Yep, definitely.
Well, just out of curiosity, what's next for the Lakers?
What's next? We've got our home opener on Friday against Brookings, and then I believe we play in Mitchell the weekend after, and then game in Yankton. Then we start the month of January off with the Eden Prairie tournament over in Minnesota.
Oh, Eden Prairie?
Yep, over in Eden Prairie.
So next weekend against Brookings, that's a big rivalry game, isn't it?
Home opener, yep. Got the I-29 rivalry there.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Yep.
And you guys always have such a great fan base that shows up for your games. So.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be bumping in the rink up in Watertown on Friday. So.
And that's next weekend?
Yep, Friday night. Friday night, yep.
All right. Well, I know you've got a whole team waiting for you to take off and head back to Watertown, Jake. We really appreciate you taking some time with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hockey 605.
Absolutely.
And we'll take this opportunity to do our first shout out to Hockey Headquarters, one of our great sponsors.
Hockey Headquarters, assisting all your goals. Visit them today at thehockeyheadquarters.com.
Well, welcome back to Hockey 605's This Week on the Ice. We are here now with Anthony Hegstrom. Anthony is the Director of Merchandise and Game Night Operations for the Stampede and the Canaries. Is that correct?
That is correct, and you can throw promotions in there and anything else I'm told to do, so.
Emergency management systems?
Exactly, just making sure everything's well entertained and just making sure work gets done.
Well,
Eager to have you on because there's a lot of excitement on game night.
Yes, there has been. There's been a lot of fun activities throughout this season so far. It's been a great season at the Denny Premier Center, and I tell you, it's been a lot of work. We've been trying to keep it very high class and top notch, right up with the AHL and NHL productions all together. So it's been a lot of work, and we've put high expectations on ourselves as an organization.
well, Anthony, tell me what brings you to Sioux Falls. Give me a little bit about your background, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. It all started with me being in the military. I had ties here to the Midwest, and all I wanted to do was play hockey. So I decided to go to USD and play club college hockey in the ACHA, and I ended up being the president for the organization, and did that for quite a bit of the time while I was here, and which kind of led me into sport management, and did an internship at Stampede, and went off to New York to work with the Islanders for a summer, and I got the call and was asked to come back since I had a little bit of experience, and there was an open position, so felt it was a great opportunity in the making obviously with the Canaries and the Stampede, and now opening up the new Premier Center, so it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, certainly. So you had basically, as the director, you had 1 year in the old venue, the Sioux Falls Arena, and now we're just getting into the Denny Sanford Premier Center. What's been your biggest challenge so far with that move?
Oh, geez, I tell you, there's probably a long laundry list right there of just a list of challenges. A lot more room to cover. I have to move a lot quicker, and so communication is key, and making sure my preparation is on point to the best of my abilities, and making sure when you announce and so forth, just making sure that everything's ready from merchandise all the way to the promotional event, to making sure everybody that's part of the moving parts of the introductions and promotional events are right there ready to go. And so short-staffed, but we make things work, and there's challenges on every day, and that's kind of why I like doing the job that I do, because it keeps me on my toes.
Well, I know from a standpoint of production, which I work with you in production every once in a while.
Sure, yeah.
And I do some off-ice officiating as well for the team. The biggest challenge that we have is just moving around the facility.
Yep.
It is so large and such a different layout than what we're used to. You used to be able to be in any place in the arena in about 45 seconds.
Exactly.
And you better plan ahead when you're at the Denny.
Yeah, you got to really plan ahead.
It's those little carts that you ride, those little two-wheeler carts.
Yeah, like the mall cops. I'd love to have one of those. That's a dream job of mine when I retire, if I ever get to that point, to be a mall cop. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
We can call you the off-ice hockey cop.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, you definitely have to be well prepared, and just again better communications, and that's something that I work on a daily basis, is to continue to refine my skills so I can better guide those that are making sure that everything goes off flawless. And so it's been a lot of fun and a lot of moving parts. Very, very good.
I'm sure, a lot of juggling.
Yes.
Now, Anthony, one of the things that we talk with hockey players and fans about is that there are many opportunities to be involved in the game. You don't have to, they're not all on the ice playing or coaching or repping.
Yep.
And of course, you offer a great example of another way to stay involved. You love the game, you want to stay close to it. What would be your recommendations to anybody out there that's interested in pursuing a path like the one you're on?
Well, I tell you, a lot of it is, it's interesting. The sports industry itself, at all levels, it's all about getting involved, volunteering, internship-wise. So it's really about just getting out there, getting in front of people, networking, and just doing the dirty work, stuff that you don't really think happens or isn't very difficult. There's those little things that most people don't think about. You need people to help. We have a lot of high schoolers that help with our ice crew, and all of those themselves, they actually work really well, getting experience, because they help with some of the marketing, fan interactions, and just fan engagement. So it starts right there, and then once you're in college, it's just about being involved in different organizations to kind of get your hands dirty in different aspects. So then that way, when you get to that point, you kind of have an understanding of what you like and what you don't like. Sales, it's not always my forte, but I'm good at it if I need to. But I didn't really want to do sales, but I've got experience in it. But you know, it has to be done. It's a big part of the game itself. But at the end of the day, I like the marketing and promotional and just making sure people enjoy the same game that I enjoy. So, and that's what I'm trying to bring to Sioux Falls itself.
Well, there obviously is a lot of excitement with the games. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Marketing, sports management, if you want to pursue a degree along those lines would work?
Oh yeah, you know, I've noticed a lot of people in the fields up to the NHL level and even down in this level that they don't necessarily have degrees in sport management. They can be in like marketing, they could be in psychology, education. I have a long list of academic credentials in education and sport management and stuff. So all you got to do is just apply what you're doing and put it all to the task, and you'll figure it all out at the end of the day.
And be a good multitasker.
You got to be a very good multitasker and very organized.
So if you're a college student, a high school student, interested in helping out on game night with an internship or something along those lines, what do you need to do? How do we get in touch with you?
You just reach out and say, you reach out to the Stampede and say, hey, I'm interested in gaining some experience and getting my foot in the door, and just more or less just telling them you're ready to do some stuff, and just tell us you're interested and you're eager to work, and we're happy to take anybody that's willing to work and do a good job.
And how do they get in contact with you? Through the website? Or?
Facebook, email Anthony@sfstampede.com, and basically you get a hold of me or call the office, and we would be more than happy to chat with you. Because shoot, we got baseball coming up next, and we're always looking for people for baseball as well.
So you also work with the Canaries?
Yes, I do. So
there's a lot of opportunities there.
Yes. So you ask for some help. I can definitely find some opportunities for some help.
And I can attest to being anybody who wants to help, because Anthony's put me to work a few times in a few different ways.
Yes, Randy, I couldn't do half the stuff I do without you. So it's great to have you aboard all the time.
Well, thanks, Anthony, and thank you for coming to this week on the ice with Hockey 605.
Well, thank you for having me.
No problem, and we'll take just a quick break to talk about one of our sponsors.
This is a story about evolution, specifically about the evolution of hockey. Everything has changed in hockey. Just look at the progression in the art of building a skate. And the safety of the goalies? Unbelievable evolution there. How about sticks? From the very crude to space-age composites. Player safety gear? Wow, incredible progress. Even the venues have evolved. Everything has evolved except the way we get information to tournament visitors. The tournament program has been largely unevolved for generations. But now that old unevolved program has evolved, and it's made a quantum leap to your smartphone. The Tourney Program smartphone program enhances tournament visitors' experiences by delivering information on their favorite device, their smartphones. The Tourney Program platform engages people in a way that no other media can. We can deliver your sponsorship or advertising message to our visitors literally weeks before the event even begins. What an advantage for you. And we have more options than you can shake a stick at. Evolve with the Tourney Program platform. Check us out today at tourneyprogram.com.
Welcome back to This Week on the Ice with Hockey 605. I'm Randy Preston, along with Carol McKee. And we're going to move on to something just a little different now, and that's the 2014 Photo of the Year contest for Hockey 605. This was a contest that was put together last hockey season. People submitted photos in several different categories, and we had some winners. I believe this was closed in March of last year.
Yeah, we closed it the end of March, first part of April, because we were new to hockey and didn't really understand the season. We should have kept it open longer. Because there was all the travel hockey that happened once the regular seasons were open. So we had three photos submitted in three categories, Randy. The first was we have youth hockey amateur photographer.
Okay.
We have youth hockey professional photographer.
Right.
And then we have a junior pro hockey amateur photographer. We also
Okay.
had a category for professional photographer and the junior pro, but it didn't take off last year. We didn't get the word out. So
Okay.
hopefully we'll get some this year. And you know, let's just start off with the youth hockey professional photographer. We didn't get a lot of entries, but what we got were fantastic.
Oh yeah.
They were awesome. In fourth place, we have Zach on His Head, taken by Don Maharis.
Oh, that's incredible.
He's a professional photographer who does business at Sportnet US, and he took this photo last January in Plymouth Ice Center in Plymouth, Minnesota, in a varsity match that the Flyers had against Minnetonka. The guy standing on his head by the goal is Zacchaeus Christopherson,
Okay.
number 5 for the Sioux Falls Flyers blue. That was number 4. Number 3 was taken by Sarah Altz, a professional photographer who does business as Serendipity Photography in Sioux Falls. And Sarah took this adorable photo of Maxwell Callis at the Mites youth hockey practice last February at Memorial.
Oh, that's incredible.
And Maxwell plays for Sioux Falls youth hockey.
Okay. Oh, that's just great stuff.
Yeah.
The second place photo was also taken by Sarah Alt of Serendipity Photography, and was taken of Maxwell again the same day, this time at Memorial Park in Sioux Falls. Another great shot of an action shot of a player. What a great looking photograph.
Yeah, it's great. I really like that one.
And then the winner, Sarah Altz of Serendipity. She's an absolutely great hockey photographer, as is evidenced by these 3 that she shot. The winner of the professional division of the 2014 Youth Hockey Photo Contest, just absolutely melt your heart. Great picture of Samuel Callis, 3-year-old, taking skating lessons for Sioux Falls Youth Hockey, February 28th at Memorial Park here in Sioux Falls. That's just a great shot.
He's so cute. I can't believe he didn't melt the ice. I mean, he's just adorable.
That's absolutely great.
So, well, congratulations to Sarah Altz of Serendipity. If you're looking for somebody to give you some great photos of your kids here in Sioux Falls, I'd certainly get in touch with her.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's time to get on with youth hockey.
Oh, that's great. We got a lot of youth hockey stuff to cover. Second weekend of the season for the league teams. Lots and lots of stuff going on.
There he is. And we got an email this week from rink manager Mark Bauer at Aberdeen. And he tells us that they've made some major improvements to their internet services at the rink.
Amen.
That excites us a lot. We're really looking forward to testing out their new commercial internet equipment with a dedicated bandwidth just for streaming.
Oh, perfect.
Are we in luck?
You're in luck.
This is a high five.
Absolutely.
It's going to be great when we get up to Aberdeen and live stream some of their games from there. And we're also really happy to announce that Aberdeen is going to have us help them set up a smartphone tournament program for their girls tournament in January.
Oh, very good.
So we're really looking forward to that. The Lady Cougars 14U, they're playing in the 13th annual holiday hockey tournament in Grand Forks, North Dakota this weekend.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we couldn't find any scores. They're not online. A lot of scores in the tournaments are not online.
Yeah, that's a pretty traditional problem with hockey tournaments around the country.
Well, maybe our smartphone training program would be able to help.
You never know. You never know.
The Cougars varsity yesterday defeated Brookings 2-1 at the Odie.
That's the Odie, yes.
And they are playing Sioux Falls number 2 at home today. I'm not sure about the outcome of that one. And you know, it's early in the season, Randy, but the Aberdeen goalie Gus Kronberg is leading the varsity goalie stats with a .972 save percentage.
Wow.
Have you met Gus?
You know what? I have not met Gus yet.
He makes me feel small, and I am not a small person. I think he's 6'8" or maybe taller. We got a chance to interview him last year at Legends Camp.
And so you're just looking like
this.
I
was standing next to him. My arm was aching from holding the microphone up. Just a great guy, and nobody more deserving to get that kind of a leaderboard to start off the season. And the Lady Cougars goalie, Haley Huff, is also leading the girls varsity goalie stats.
Very cool.
So, I'm a stats person. I love the numbers. It's early. I know that there's a lot of games left in the season, but
that's cool. And Haley, I know her parents are family friends, so we've know her younger brother Cameron. But yeah, that's a neat family up there.
Yeah, and I had the chance to interview her last year during the varsity tournament too. What a sweetheart. Anyway, a couple of great goalies out there in Aberdeen.
Obviously. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And also, Aberdeen Hockey is still looking for an executive director, to the best of my knowledge. So
It's a tough position to be in, but you know what? If you're good at organizing things,
and if you love hockey,
yeah, AberdeenHockey.com. It looks like a great idea.
And did you hear what the Brandon Valley Ice Cats are doing?
No, what are they doing?
They're looking for dads to sew patches, sponsor patches on the new jerseys. Usually they're looking for the hockey moms.
Yeah.
Brandon Valley's looking for hockey dads. Bringing the hockey dads into the 21st century. I said I put that into the column, refreshing news.
Yeah, there you go.
Because actually, I'm not very good with the needle. My husband's probably better.
Well, I understand, and you know, frankly, over all the years, I think my wife has done all of that stuff for me. I'm the guy that volunteers and does the stuff at the rink, but all the behind-the-scenes stuff like that, it's almost always the hockey moms.
And somebody has to do it, but
Right.
they want the hockey dads to do it, Brandon Valley.
That's cool.
If you're a hockey dad, get your needle and thread, head on out to the ice.
There you go. Well, the Brookings Rangers will head on just up the road a piece, 60 miles north of here of Sioux Falls. They just finished hosting their first tournament of the year, 13-team Pee-wee A, Pee-wee B tournament, bringing in teams from 5 states. That's quite an accomplishment. Pee-wee B championship was won by MBA, 7-3 over Sioux Falls Pee-wee B. Go ahead.
And Brookings Rangers and Fremont were in the championship game for PVA. That game went into overtime, and I can't remember if it was Brookings that won that or Fremont, but it was a 1-0 game.
Wow.
And you know, those scores are available on bisahockey.com.
Okay.
They're a smartphone program.
Oh, very
so
cool.
we were able to get the scores. I just forgot to write down who won.
I understand. Let's see, next weekend, the Brookings Rangers are hosting a Bantam A, Bantam B tournament. 14 teams from 5 states. Once again, that's a pretty major accomplishment, but what a beautiful facility to have a Bantam tournament. Matter of fact, that facility is a beautiful facility for any tournament.
It is. And again, a tradition of drawing in teams from out of state. And everybody in state loves playing there. Just a great facility over there at the Larson Ice Arena.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mentioned this year that Brookings did add something new. They added the tournament on a smartphone program. And we had a lot of fun setting that up. They're hosting 8 tournaments, and they're all on one smartphone program.
Well, very
So
good.
you can go to each different program. It just makes a lot of sense, and it keeps all the tournament information right there in one place for visitors for all 8 of the tournaments. And from what I can tell, you know, I mentioned earlier I could not find the scores of some of these other tournaments.
Right.
This is a great way for the tournaments to have their scores available online.
Well, that's perfect.
So,
It helps a
but
ton.
you have to remember what the scores are, who won, when you write it down.
Yeah, I understand. Quick note from Huron, no news on their website or their Facebook page. We'll cover their games when we get to the results section just a little bit later in the program.
Yeah, we'll have to find out what's going on up there in Huron. I imagine they're still recovering from the Rooster Cup.
Yeah, more than likely. That I know that takes a huge volunteer base to get that thing taken care of, so that doesn't surprise me. Moving to Mitchell, just down the road from Huron, about 45 miles. The Marlins, Pee-wee A and B, were in the tournament in Brookings this weekend. The Pee-wee B goaltender, Jeremy Long, took 41 shots and stopped all but 3.
Pretty impressive, especially at that
And
age.
playing with a broken hand.
A broken hand.
A broken hand. That's amazing.
You know, goalies are a strange breed. I've said it before, I love goalies, but they are so tough.
Yeah, they're tough. And kudos to Jeremy. What a great job.
Oh, well, a shout. And also, the Marlins varsity are in Duluth at the tournament this weekend.
Okay.
Again, you can find results online. But we want to give a shout out to the Mitchell Marlins and a big thanks to them for putting up that great looking Hockey 605 banner on your website. That looks great. Thanks.
Shout out to the Marlins.
All right. You know, let's take a quick break and say a little thanks to our good friends over at Hockey Headquarters.
Hockey Headquarters, assisting all your goals. Visit them today at thehockeyheadquarters.com.
And welcome back to This Week on the Ice, Hockey 605. We are in the middle of our youth hockey roundup here in South Dakota. And moving on to the Oahe Capitals. Fort Pierre. They just hosted a food pantry drive yesterday in conjunction with their home opener Saturday night with the Yankton Miracle. 2 non-perishable food items earned hockey fans free admission to the game for both the JV and the varsity game. And then all the food items that were collected will be donated to the Pierre Area Referral Service Food Pantry.
That's just awesome.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Hockey, it's a win-win situation. More fans there, gathering food. What a great idea.
What a great idea. And with 7 points, the Caps' Landon Badger is leading the boys' varsity skater stats board on the website. Badger earned all 7 points against the Yankton Miracle on Saturday. And the Oahe Caps Bantam A team was out in Rapid City, Rushmore, over the weekend, playing 2 games against the Thunder.
And you know, that's one of my favorite teams.
Well, now why is that?
Well, it's one of my favorite teams because my nephew Trey Granis plays for the Caps. And before the game yesterday, Trey mentioned that he had a stomach ache. But he felt good enough to play.
Of course he did.
If he had 2 broken ankles, he would have felt good enough to play. And he obviously did feel good enough to play because he helped his team get a very decisive victory over the Thunder. But after the game, Trey's stomach was hurting a lot, much worse.
Okay.
And that happens to be a team that is blessed with a lot of doctors on the parent roster.
Okay.
And one of the doctors told his mom, my sister Ginny, that she should take him to the ER right away. Phil was on the team. And so long story short, she took him to the ER, and around 2 o'clock this morning, he had his appendix removed. And we also learned that the Rapid City Regional Waiting Room can hold a full hockey team. But the moral of the story is don't stop playing because he was okay until he quit playing, right?
Yeah, evidently.
No, seriously, it could have been a very bad situation.
Yeah, that would have been a tough situation had his appendix burst when he was on the ice. I can't even imagine that. That's.
But if you never had one happening like that, how are you supposed to know?
Well, exactly. That's a tough one to tell.
And he's going to be off the ice for the next 3 weeks, and then they'll reevaluate, and then he'll be able to come back to light practice. His team is doing great this year, and I know they're going to miss him on the ice probably almost as much as he's going to miss being there with them. But so Trey, here's a shout out. So glad you're doing okay, bud. Wishing you a very speedy recovery.
Yeah, Trey, absolutely. Speedy recovery. Get back on the ice when you can, but don't rush it.
There'll be other games.
Absolutely.
Moving on, Rushmore Thunder.
Moving on to the Rushmore Thunder. Rushmore Thunder had teams going to tournaments kind of all over the Midwest this weekend. 3 states. Pee-wees were in Brookings. The Squirt A's were in Minot, North Dakota. And the boys varsity was in Casper, Wyoming.
Wow.
Talk about travel.
Well, and you know, when you're the only hockey program on that side of the state, basically, you're going to have to do some traveling.
Yeah.
But to send them 3 different directions.
Well, 3 different directions, and not only 3 different directions, but 3 different directions, 400 miles in each direction.
That's true. It's not like you're going 60 miles to go to Sioux City or something, right?
No, not at all. I've driven that drive from Rapid to Casper a few times for my work. That's a long, boring drive.
It's a long haul. It's a long haul. Well, I hope they all did well with their.
I hope so as well. Sioux Center Storm, Sioux Center Tornadoes, depending upon where they're at in terms of their age. JV girls were here in Sioux Falls today, taking on the Flyers right here at the IcePlex, and talk a little bit later about that game.
Okay.
I think. Okay.
All right. Sounds good. I didn't get a chance to see that one.
Oh, it was a great game.
Well, and obviously the Flyers were here at home.
Yes.
At the IcePlex, SCHEELS IcePlex this weekend. They were hosting Watertown. And then the Pee-wees were in Brookings at their tournament. And then they have various other youth teams playing at home and away. And here I go back with my stats again that I love so much. The Lady Flyers, Robin Hatcher, we call her Little Hatcher, is currently leading the skater stats board with 7 points in the season so far.
Robin is an absolute pistol on the ice. That's the only thing I can say.
She's kind of a pistol off the ice too.
Yeah, I've spoken to her a few times.
Anyway, she's a little dynamo. Really thrilled to see her doing well.
So moving on to the Lakers, up in Watertown. We were talking with some of the varsity hockey players here yesterday, and they're looking forward to a good season. We had the varsity assistant coach here a little earlier. They did lose some talent to graduation last year, quite a few seniors on the team. And, you know, they still put on a glorious battle here this afternoon with the Sioux Falls Flyers top varsity team. We'll once again talk about that a little later.
Yeah, and I want to thank Jake Eide once again for being with us, delaying everybody heading back to Watertown to spend a few minutes with us at the top of the hour.
Right. And you had talked to a few of the parents yesterday. Great news.
Great news, and we got it confirmed with a couple players that I interviewed again today. They are working on a second sheet of ice. They're trying to get the funding all put together and the financing, figure out how to make it happen.
And I know you don't know this, but I talked to one of my friends, a parent who's from Watertown, who I've known for a few years, and specifically asked him that question: what's going on with the new ice? And they are moving forward. It does sound like it's not going to be on the same property as their old sheet. It's going to be someplace else in the city. But that's perfectly great. They need it. They need additional ice up there. They're growing that program like crazy.
They do. They've got such a solid program that it's additional ice is required to help it continue to grow.
Yeah.
So this is the first year for Yankton to have both of JV and varsity.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
The JV boys actually picked up their first win this weekend.
Very good.
They won the first win of the season yesterday with a 4-1 win on the road over the Oahu Capitals.
That's cool.
That's really cool for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks kind of like the Caps avenged that loss today, though, because the Miracle dropped that second game, the JV, by a score of 2-8.
Okay.
And then the varsity didn't fare as well yesterday. They dropped that season opener to the Caps 10-1, and I'm not sure about today's results. The match we have there.
Yankton girls JV, they were in Mitchell on Friday night and lost at Yankton on Friday night against Mitchell. Took a 2-0 loss, and then they won on the road 3-0 in Watertown today.
Yep.
So they had a nice 2-point weekend.
Yeah.
Win and a loss, nothing wrong with that. Starting the season out.
And road wins are always nice to get.
Road wins are sweet, absolutely sweet.
I don't know if you've been on the Yankton Ice website lately, Randy.
Not lately.
They are doing a really great job on their website. They have lots of information, pictures, game results, player stories, and you know the best part of all?
What's that?
They have a Hockey 605 link.
Yeah.
We really like that. Well done, Yankton. You know, the people in Yankton really know how to do youth sports. They do a great job of it. We also heard from Randy at Yankton, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced.
I think it's Eichacker.
Eichacker.
Yep.
Randy at Eichacker at Yankton. He let us know about some improvements that they've been making at their facility. Had you heard about some of those?
You know, I heard a little bit that they were doing some stuff down there. I didn't hear all the details.
Well, they remodeled their kitchen.
That's great.
They created a conference room and a referee room.
That was needed.
You'll have to pass that on to your referee friends.
I will pass that along.
They've created a new equipment room. They've added an additional locker room.
Okay.
And they've created an apparel store.
Oh, very cool.
And this week we got a notice that they were removing their bleachers. They got that all done. In fact, they had like 2 or 3 nights scheduled to remove the bleachers. They had so many volunteers show up, they got it all done in just a couple hours.
Wow, that's great.
Isn't that impressive?
That's great.
So they canceled the other volunteer hours. They didn't need their help, and now they are preparing to put their new elevated bleachers in. They'll start installing those tomorrow.
And did I also see something on there about heat?
They have new heaters that have been installed above the bleachers.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I have not been to the rink yet, but I've heard that it's a little chilly, and Randy tells us that it's still chilly, but it takes the edge.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, the radiant heaters, they do a good job of, like you said, just taking the edge off. They don't really. I was going to make a comment earlier tonight, that I could tell that it's hockey season because I haven't felt my toes for about a month now.
There just aren't enough socks to put on to fit inside your shoes. Anyhow, Randy says it's still chilly, but it takes the edge off.
Well, perfect.
And they've also upgraded their lighting in the rink. They've gone from the old mercury vapor lights to a more efficient, compact fluorescent light.
Okay.
And he said the new lights really brighten up the arena, so we look forward to seeing that.
That'll be great.
And also, if anyone's interested in purchasing those old mercury vapor lights, they can get in touch with them.
Oh, perfect.
So just go to Yankton Miracle, and they'll set you up with some lights.
That's great.
He also thanked us for the updates we've been providing, and they're also planning to wire their rink for the internet. So they'll have a hard line and wireless. So
perfect.
then they can score games live, and we're going to be talking with them about the bandwidth required to do some live streaming. So
Well, that's very cool.
We're excited. There's a lot happening in youth hockey across the state.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's been so much going on, and that's just the start of it.
It is. It is. And you know, before we go on to the next one, I think it's a great opportunity for us to chat a little bit about one of our great sponsors.
Getting recruited by college coaches is more difficult every year. There are thousands of other athletes competing for your position. MyPlayerPage.com is the best place for athletes to showcase their personal and player information. Check us out today at MyPlayerPage.com. Any sport, any athlete, any state, any city, champions all.
Welcome back to This Week on the Ice. Randy Preston here along with Carol McKee. And it's just wanted to cover quickly a couple of the games that were played here at the IcePlex today. I happened to have a little bit of fun doing PA and music today and saw two really, really good hockey games.
Well, and speaking of the PA and music, man, you got some good reverb going there. That was awesome.
I have a new trick.
Well, you know, and you got to keep adding new techniques to match the excitement on the ice, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I threw a little bit of a delay and echo into a power play now just because it's kind of fun.
It is fun. adds to the excitement.
Well, thank you. I'm glad people are noticing that stuff. Some of that stuff's not, you know, it's just an idea that I have in my head, and then you spend a little bit of time and money trying to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it worked. It definitely worked.
Well, perfect. Well, earlier today, the girls junior varsity, Sioux Falls Flyers girls JV, played the Sioux Center girls JV, the Sioux Center Storm.
And Sioux Center does not have a varsity.
They do not have a varsity. They do not have a varsity girls program. They don't have a varsity boys program either. It's just two JV. So this is their top high school team. And it's, you know, it consists of girls from probably 5th and 6th grade on up into high school. So a lot of varying ages and varying levels of talent.
Wow.
They've got some really, really good skaters on the team, and they have some girls that need some help. Not unlike the Sioux Falls Flyers girls JV team, which is quite young.
That JV by definition is developmental still.
It is developmental. What turned out to be a really, really good game. It just was an interesting game. I'll leave it at that. The Flyers started off and grabbed a 3-0 lead about halfway through the second period. And Sioux Center came back. And they scored 2 goals, one in the with about 6 minutes into the second, and one 3 minutes into the third. And they just couldn't get that last one over the line to tie it up. But it was quite a game.
Good for them.
Yeah. Let's see. We've got Sioux Falls Flyers scoring. Carson Hayes scored a goal. Alexis Meek Thuy with Katie Bachler also scoring a goal for the Flyers.
Okay.
And then I believe their sisters, Patricia King and Jenna King from Sioux Center, each getting a goal for Sioux Center.
The Sister Act.
The Sister Act. But overall, a very, very well-played game. And, you know, good experience for both teams they're gaining experience now.
Yeah, obviously, they challenged each other very well on that one.
They did. They sure did. Moving on today to the crowning game here of the day at the IcePlex, and that was the Watertown Lakers Sioux Falls Flyers Blue boys varsity game. What a game. It was an interesting game, a little bit erratic, a little bit kind of, I guess the best way to call it is nervous. You could tell that this is early in the season and the kids are just getting to know each other and the lines are just starting to play together. So you had some passes that would bounce a little differently and some kind of all-around skittishness, I guess is a good way to put it. But what a good game by the Flyers and by Watertown. The Flyers got off to a 7-2 lead by the end of the second period.
Well, and the end of the first period, that was a score that a lot of teams will score that many goals in their whole season.
Well, it was 3-2 at the end of the first, 7-2 at the end.
At the end of the second one.
And then the Flyers lost 2 of their players to penalties, to the 3 penalty limit from South Dakota, and that kind of put them on their heels a little bit. The Lakers came back and scored 3 goals in the third period to get it to 5-7. pulled their goaltender a couple of times, and in the end, the Flyers scored an empty net goal for an 8-5 win.
Yeah. The Lakers were really coming on hard in that third
They
period.
were absolutely coming on hard. It was really a well-played game by a pretty inexperienced Lakers team, really, when push comes to shove, and by a Sioux Falls team that, for everything I've heard, should be out battling with the Rushmore Thunder varsity team for the state league championship this year. We'll see how it all comes. You have to play the games. And that's part of it.
There's a few weekends left.
Just a few. I mean, this is what, first weekend of varsity hockey? But it was a very, very fun game to watch. Very entertaining game. Quite a few penalties called, but kind of a nervous hockey game. I guess
well, they'll all get in the flow of it more. Get their rhythm going.
Yes, they will. All right, and now we're going to go back and talk a little bit more about another one of the photo contests that you have.
Yes, Randy, with the athleticism and the passion that you see in junior hockey, there are always some great photo opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
And our South Dakota amateur photographers captured some really great moments in that category. And in the number 4 spot, in the category of junior hockey amateur photography, is I Can Fly. This was taken by Karen Thorson back in March at the Rushmore Civic Center Ice Arena during a Rapid City Rush Allen Americans game.
Okay.
The guy who's flying is Allen's number 10, forward Brian Millen. And the guy who gave him the free flying lesson is former Rush wingman Kevin Harvey. Isn't that a great photo?
That's a great picture. Yes, absolutely.
And in number 3, we have a photo taken by Mark Bauer, our friend Mark Bauer up in Aberdeen. He took that on January 24th during a Wings Minotauros game at the Odie Ice Arena. And Mark titles this one, "This Ain't Youth Hockey."
Yeah,
it is. If you see that in youth hockey, we got a bit of a problem.
Yeah, we do.
It does seem that the Minotauros forward Christian Mose may have annoyed the Wings forward Drew Doyen.
Perhaps.
He's just expressing some discontent.
That's amazing. Number 2 was taken by Deidre Nelson on December 27th at the Odie Ice Center. Deidre calls this one Wings Score, as number 19 Colin O'Neill scores for the Wings. Despite the best efforts of the Minot Toros defenseman Max Pernheim and the goalie Brandon Wilden. What another great shot.
It is. See that puck slipping in under the goalie.
I'm loving the ice spray and the whole 9 yards. So, oh heavens, the clear winner. There is a Hockey God, taken by Karen Thorson on March 2nd in the Rapid City Rush Ice Arena. Features former Rush center Anthony Perticaro and Sean Zimmerman, defenseman for the Denver Cutthroats last year. Perticaro is now playing for the Gwinnett Gladiators in Georgia. Cutthroats are sitting out the season, and Zimmerman's playing for the Colorado Eagles this year. But once again, I have seen the check into the bench a few times, but I don't think I've ever seen skates in the air like that.
Yeah, I think this photo got a lot of play, and I'm so grateful that Karen shared it and entered it. But it was a great shot that we saw all over the internet.
Wow.
So,
That's all I have to
obviously
say.
a clear winner. Congratulations,
absolutely.
Karen, on taking that winning photo.
Well, certainly.
So, that's a good way to get you in the frame of mind for junior hockey, isn't it?
Yeah, let's do that. It was a very, very interesting week in junior hockey around the area this week. First, we'll start with the Rushmore, the Rush, or the Rapid City Rush. They've been having a little bit of a downslide lately. They did get a 3-point weekend this last weekend, winning a game and then losing a game 3-2 in a shootout.
Okay.
So 2 points for the win and then 1 point for the shootout loss. But looks like things might be turning around in Rapid City.
Well, their fans on their Facebook page and their fan page have been so supportive. They are diehard Rush fans.
Oh, absolutely.
And, they know their team's going to come back.
That is one of the places that is on my bucket list for South Dakota hockey. I've not been to a Rush game yet. I really need to make it out there and check one out.
Yeah. Maybe we should do a road trip, huh?
Let's go.
All right.
Find a free weekend sometime, right?
We're going to add one more before the year's over.
Oh, okay. Well,
The 53rd weekend of the year.
I do know I have some work to do out in western South Dakota for my day job coming up in January sometime, so I might have to make a point to check out a game. So moving on, Aberdeen Wings. Aberdeen had we'll just call it a tough week. They took a loss on Friday night to Bismarck. They took that wonderful lonely Highway 83 up to Bismarck to take on the Bobcats. The Wings did lead after the first period 2-1 on goals by Tanner Okeson and Colin Raver. Bismarck then tied the game early in the third, so no scoring in the second. Took it to overtime and then ultimately lost in a shootout. Andrew Shortridge took the shootout loss for the Wings. He stopped 27 of 29 shots on goal, and so it's kind of a tough night for Aberdeen.
And I was following that one on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I thought they had it, and then I didn't get back to it. So I shared their disappointment. A little delayed.
Yeah,
it happens.
Well, and then Saturday night, the Wings returned to the ODI Center. And our good old Brookings Bobcats took a little short drive up to Aberdeen to take the Wings on. Wings outshot the Blizzard 40-24 on the night.
Oh, wow.
Almost twice as many shots as Brookings took. They couldn't figure out the Blizzard's goaltender, Ryan Kubik, however. Final score, Blizzard 3, Wings 2. So the Wings pick up 1 point on the weekend. And then next weekend, they get a chance for a little revenge.
So the Blizzard won 3-2.
Yes.
And the Wings outshot the Blizzard?
Outshot the Blizzard. Almost.
It doesn't happen very often.
Doesn't happen very often, but it does show a goaltender who's standing on his head usually.
Yeah, obviously.
So
that's great.
Well, next weekend it's revenge weekend for the Wings. They take on Bismarck at home on Friday night. And then they travel down to Brookings to take on the Bobcats, or the Blizzard, excuse me. Too many names. The Blizzard on Saturday night. So it's a repeat weekend, just in different venues.
Okay.
Should be kind of fun.
It should be.
So speaking of the Blizzard, they played a very, very close game early in the weekend, on Thursday night actually.
Okay.
That notorious Minot Toros. They traveled to the Larson Ice Center in Brookings. The Blizzard took a 3-2 loss. Very evenly played game, barely outshooting the Toros 24-23. A tight game. Ryan Kubik took the loss in goal. Blizzard picked up 2 points on the weekend, however, for the victory against the Wings. Then the Blizzard travels to Minot on Friday night to take on the Toros, and then to Aberdeen, back home on Saturday to take on the Wings. So it's another repeat weekend for them.
It is.
So
just different locations.
Different locations. Not much has changed in the standings in the North American Hockey League, although Aberdeen did drop a position because due to their losses this weekend. Aberdeen is now 1 point behind Bismarck for 4th place, and Brookings is still 5 points behind Aberdeen, sitting in 5th place in the division. So lots and lots going on there.
Right.
All right. Moving on to the Sioux Falls Stampede. The Stampede had a very interesting week, to say the least. The biggest news from the Stampede this week involved 2 player trades this week. So, in my opinion, in an effort to get some experienced players on the young team, Thursday the Herd announced a trade with Muskegon, moving first-year forward Will Graber to the Lumberjacks in exchange for second-year forward Cooper Marody.
Okay, give me that one again.
Okay, so Stampede player Will Graber goes to Muskegon.
Okay.
Muskegon player Cooper Marody comes to Sioux Falls.
Okay.
All right, so and there were some draft pick changes and things like that, but basically an even player exchange.
Okay.
Marody played in 14 games this year for the Jacks. He's scored 2 goals and 7 assists for the Lumberjacks. He played 58 games last year, and he's committed to play collegiate hockey at the U of Michigan. So, experienced player for the Stampede.
Oh, new player to me.
New player. The next day, the Herd announced another trade. This time sending Joey Marooney from the Stampede to the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders in exchange for forward Alec Marsh.
Okay.
Now, Marsh is a 3-season player for the Rough Riders, scored a total of 52 points over those 3 seasons, 24 goals and 29 assists, and he's committed to Penn State. Now, I did make a joke about it, that we now lost a Marooney and gained a Marody. Hopefully they got $250 for the vowel. Right? Okay. We don't know. Anyway, Stampede, they're on a little bit of a road trip right now. They playing 5 of their next 6 on the road, including this last weekend. And then they come home to the Denny for a 9-game homestand starting after Christmas.
Oh, okay, good.
So lots and lots of hockey.
Good opportunities to catch some local.
Yeah, absolutely. This weekend, the herd traveled down to Ralston, Nebraska to pick a game up with the Omaha Lancers. Brand new arena down in Ralston a couple years ago, and the Stampede have never won a game in the Ralston arena until Friday night.
Yeah.
Friday night, they took a 3-2 victory. Herd dominated play almost all night, outshooting the Lancers 31-21. Newly acquired Cooper Marody ended the night with 3 points, had 2 goals and an assist.
Right.
So what a great pickup right there.
Really good pickup.
Kiefer Bellis had the other Stampede goal, and Parker Toomey ended the night with 2 assists.
Okay.
So Stefanos Lekas, he grabbed the win in net, stopping 19 of 21. And then on Saturday night, they hopped on the bus, or actually sometime on Saturday, hopped on the bus, drove over to Des Moines, and to the Madhouse on Hickman, taking on the Buccaneers.
Madhouse on
Madhouse on Hickman. It's an old hockey barn.
And that's really what it's called.
It's on Hickman Road.
Okay.
In west side of Des Moines. It is a 45, 50-year-old hockey barn, and it's an interesting place to watch a game.
It sounds like a fun place.
Yeah. Anyway.
It sounds like something right out of National Lampoon.
Well, or maybe out of I don't know, Slapshot.
Yeah, Slapshot. Madhouse.
The herd dominated play on the night again, outshooting the Buccaneers 42-32.
Okay.
The Stampede had another great night with the 2 new players. Cooper Marody had a 2-point night, a goal and an assist. Alec Marsh scored his first goal as a Stampede in a Stampede sweater. And the herd got goals from Troy Logan and Parker Toomey for a great, I think it was a 4-2 win on Saturday night. Stefanos Lekas again in net, stopping 30-32 for the Stampede. Looks like Stefanos is kind of stepping up to become the go-to goaltender for the Stampede.
It does sound that way, doesn't it?
And, that's saying nothing against Art Bry. It's just, Stefanos is really...
He's had some good minutes there.
He's had some great minutes. So, all that being said, a little bit of standings changes in the USHL West. Sioux City still leads the Western Conference with 29 points.
Okay.
Sioux Falls is now in a virtual dead heat for 3rd place. Tri-City has 23 points, Fargo has 22 points, Sioux Falls has 21 points, and Omaha has 20 points.
Okay.
So the middle of the pack is just crowded right now,
really
and tight. Herd heads to Muskegon next weekend to take on the Lumberjacks and their former player Will Graver.
Oh, of course.
Who will be over there.
But we'll be taking one of their former players.
Yes, we certainly have. It's kind of an interesting deal. Oh, absolutely. Couple of quick other junior hockey things. The North American 3 League, that's that Tier 3 junior hockey league, is having their showcase this weekend up in Blaine, up at the Schwann Super Rink. If you have never been to the Schwann Super Rink, if you're looking for some great hockey and a very interesting experience, that is an 8-sheet facility in Blaine, Minnesota. What a beautiful facility, and I tell you what, it's going to be a good time. They have the North American 3 League, the North American Prospects League, the Bantam Tournament Series, and the Girls Tournament Series all in this showcase.
At the same time?
Yes, something like 250 or 300 hockey games over a span of 4 or 5 days. $25 for the whole.
To watch them all.
To watch them all.
Wow.
Great deal.
Great opportunity for coaches and for any fan of the game.
So we've got a few of our South Dakota players playing up there. Jamison Westaby is playing with Helena. Zach Flockman playing with the Glacier Nationals out of Havre, Montana. TJ Theodopoulos playing for Billings, along with Alex Meyer playing for Billings. We've got Tristan Liebernight and Bryce Mitzel both playing for Gillette. And then Lucas Muchkanaus playing for the Minnesota Flying Aces in the 3 League as well.
I didn't realize Lucas was over there.
Yeah, it's a really interesting tournament. So you'll see all of those players and possibly a few more that I don't even know about playing in that tournament.
Well, we want to be sure and hear about it. If you've got someone playing over there, we want to know about it if we missed it.
And I do know that in the Bantam League division, that Bantam Tournament Series, the Sioux Falls Junior Stampede's playing up there.
Oh, The new Tier 1.
The new Tier 1.
14U team.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know that they had played in the division. They were they were playing this morning, and they were 2-1.
Okay.
So I don't have the final game they played today, but so far they had two wins and 1 loss. Several South Dakota teams in that, or players on that team, and there are other U14 teams there as well that have some South Dakota players on it. Once again, if you have players playing Tier 1, playing AAA, playing AA anywhere in South Dakota or anywhere outside of South Dakota, let us know. We want to cover these people.
I mean, they are Hockey 605.
Yep, they are. And then last but not least, up in that area, talking about AAA, we have two Sioux Falls Flyers girls playing AAA hockey on the St. Louis Lady Blues team, a 16 and under team. Hannah Muchel-Knaus and Jenica Reitzman, both playing Tier 1 AAA hockey in St. Louis. They were up in Brampton, Ontario this weekend for the Two Nations tournament. And I don't have a lot of results. I did talk to Brian this morning, Brian Reitzman, Jenica's dad, and he said that they had won 2 of the 3 games that they had played, and they had 1 more game yet today, and so I don't have the final on that. But both Hannah and Jenica, they were recently added to the team. A team that they were playing on folded, and then they got transferred over to the St. Louis team. They've each played 4 games. Hannah has 3 goals, and Jenica has 2 assists so far.
Oh, wow.
So, go girls.
Go girls.
Yeah.
And we need to get Brian on to talk about that one of these next days. And we'll talk a little bit about this team.
Absolutely. I actually talked to Brian today when I didn't know we had 2 guests already, and said, Brian, any chance you could come on and talk to us? He had to leave. He had some other things to do. So.
Well, next time, don't tell him in advance.
I won't.
We'll just have him sit down here and we'll put the camera on.
We'll grab it.
You know, and speaking of the Sioux Falls Stampede Junior team, we're going to be having Matt Tobin
Perfect.
come up and talk next week.
That's great.
He joined us.
Matt's a great guy, and that Tier 1 14 and under team should be a good experience for those kids.
Yeah, they're traveling a lot.
Yeah. Well,
It's great to see these kids that really want to pursue their hockey careers and futures have these opportunities to get out and travel.
Yeah. And that's the whole point of AAA hockey, is to give them experiences that they can't get playing locally. So, good stuff.
Well, we have one last photo contest.
Oh, the youth hockey contest.
The youth hockey
what a great
amateur photographer.
Perfect.
It is a great one.
So leading off the youth hockey photos, 5th place. Mini but Mighty, taken by Darren Bergquist during an Oahe Capitals Mini Mites gold versus black game, January 12th. The courageous little goalie, Keller Shaw.
Isn't he adorable?
What a
You know,
great
when I
shot.
looked at it, I thought, it almost looks like a pacifier. Remember those old safety pucks?
Yeah.
His mouth guard is...
Well, I love, it's a good thing that the Mini Mites play with blue pucks, or we would never would have seen the puck.
I know. And look at him looking at that. I mean, he was just calm. He's not afraid of that puck coming in the dog.
Oh, that's great. 4th place, we've got a photo of the Aberdeen Cougars Pee Wee A goaltender, Caden Frericks, taken by Stacy Vikander. Stacy took this photo not today, February 14th. Cougars took on the Brookings Rangers Blue, Larson Ice Center in Brookings. That is the prototypical goaltender save shot.
The butterfly.
There. Yeah, the butterfly is a great shot.
You know, and we were actually at that game. It was one of my first games we covered.
Oh, very cool.
It was a great event.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got a few more here.
Yeah, moving on. Let's see, there we go.
There we go. Coming in at number 3
Oh.
is our Sioux Falls Lady Flyers goalie, Brittany Corcoran. This photo is taken by her mom, Angela Drake, and Angela calls this one Ninja Goalie Growl. The photo was taken at the Old Barn Expo Ice, so it has some double sentiment.
There you go.
Back in February, as the Lady Flyers were hosting the Aberdeen Lady Cougars in a girls varsity match, so that Ninja Goalie Growl is something that I saw repeated up at the girls varsity tournament.
Yeah, I worked with Angela today during the girls JV game. Brittany kept asking for certain songs that she wanted played so she could dance.
You DJ'd for her.
I did.
And speaking of the girls varsity tournament, the 2nd place photo here is one that I just love. It's called A Girl and Her Coach, taken by Caitlin Gehring during the girls varsity state tournament at the Ma's Ice Arena in Watertown. Caitlin captured this touchy moment between the Aberdeen Lady Cougars goalie Haley Huff and her coach Rob Weinmeister. Isn't that just a coachable moment?
Oh, that's great.
That's a great photo.
Absolutely great.
And our leader, the winner of the 2014 Photo of the Year contest for youth hockey amateur photographers, is Kathy Lesnar.
That's
This photo was taken on February 28th at the Larson Ice Arena. It was a JV match between the Flyers and the Rangers, and that's the Rangers Hunter
Lesnar.
Lesnar, who's flying low over that extended stick. You might think it's a skate, then you look and think he's got 3 skates. That's a stick on the other side of it.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, isn't that a great one? So, congratulations, and thanks to all the photographers who shared their amazing photos. We only showed a few of them for the show.
Right.
There's a lot more of them. But we want to congratulate all those finalists.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations to all the finalists. Kathy Lesnar, winner of the Youth Hockey Amateur Photographer Division. To Karen Thorson of Rapid City, winner of the Junior Hockey Amateur Photographer Division. And to Sarah Altz of Serendipity Photography of Sioux Falls, winner of the Youth Hockey Professional Photography Division.
Yeah, they did a great job. And now it's time for the 2015 contest.
Oh, absolutely. Let's go.
Yeah, do you have your cameras locked and loaded, folks? Or at least your cell phone handy?
Yeah, take out that camera phone.
Get a good, that's the most important thing now when you get a cell phone. It doesn't have a good camera. The contest rules and the entry form are now up on hockey605.com. So go there. The story's posted. You can see the photo contest right in the top nav bar and start sending those photos in now.
That sounds great. Well, you know what? I think we are just about done here for the day, are we not?
I think we probably have used up our time, but we could keep talking hockey.
Well, we could, but I practically lost my voice already today after doing 4 games yesterday and 2 today. I'm beat. But, well, thank you for watching Hockey 605's This Week on the Ice. We'll be back next week with a lot more special guests, hopefully.
And, I need to do a shout out before we take
Go
off.
for it.
I need to do a shout out to our friends over here at the Fairfield Inn. Yesterday, I brought Randy out to cover the games, and I went to take care of some other business. Forgot that he told me that the gas gauges are working quite right. So it went from full to empty just like that. So I need to thank them for their help in getting me some gas in the car that I let run out. It was a bad deal, and they just were our heroes. So shout out to Fairfield Inn.
That's
Thank you.
great.
All right.
Glad it's wonderful, good South Dakota hospitality.
Yes, it is.
Right? Well, once again, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. I'm Randy Preston.
Carol McKee.
Saying so long for now.